The 75-year tale of machines getting smarter and sassier. Once upon a bite. In the 1950s, when Elvis was swiveling hips and the Cold War was icing over global politics, computers weren't called computers. Nope, they had a way cooler or eerier name, electronic brains. That's right. People honestly thought of them as mechanical noggins, crunching numbers and perhaps plotting to overthrow humanity one punch card at a time. Flash forward 75 years and bam, those brains have evolved into something much more sophisticated. Chatty, creative, and just a tad unnerving. Enter artificial intelligence. You know, the stuff writing this very sentence. But before we dive into your digital assistant's family tree, let's boot up the history. The birth of the electronic brain. The first programmable electronic computer, like ENIAC 1945, weren't cute little laptops. They were room-sized behemoths, with enough wires to make a spaghetti factory jealous. And get this, ENIAC could perform about 5,000 additions per second. That sounds adorable today, but back then, it blew minds harder than a sci-fi B-movie. Newspapers called them electronic brains, because no one had seen a machine that could think. Of course, these machines couldn't really think. They followed instructions, much like a very obedient but very literal intern. Trivia time. ENIAC weighed 30 tons and used 18,000 vacuum tubes. It was programmed by rewiring cables, like playing Twister with your entire living room. Its memory, a whopping 20 10-digit numbers. That's it. Then came the nerds. Enter the 1960s through 1980s. Scientists, mathematicians, and software pioneers like Alan Turing, John McCarthy, and Grace Hooper began asking, what if machines didn't just follow instructions? What if they learned? And just like that, the seed of artificial intelligence was planted. John McCarthy even coined the term artificial intelligence in 1956 at a conference that basically gave birth to the entire AI field. Spoiler alert, nobody at that conference had ChatGPT in mind. Their goals were things like playing chess, solving algebra, and maybe not catching on fire from overheating. Silicon gets serious. As microchips shrunk and got faster, computers ditched the vacuum tubes, finally, and joined homes and offices. By the 1980s and 90s, PCs became personal. Remember Windows 95? That was like giving the electronic brain a personality, complete with sound effects and a weird obsession with Clippy, the paperclip that tried to help but mostly annoyed. Meanwhile, early AI was struggling to live up to the hype. It had big dreams of human-level thinking, but mostly delivered slow, clunky results. Kinda like expecting a toddler to run your tax returns. Cute, but not reliable. Fast forward to AI 2.0. Then came the big reboot, machine learning. Computers stopped trying to mimic human thinking step by step and started learning from data. You show them a zillion cat pictures and boom, they know what a cat is. You feed them tons of news articles and suddenly they're writing better headlines than half the internet. AI began driving. Spam filters in email. Voice assistants like Siri and Miss A. Netflix recommendations that somehow always led to a true crime binge. And then in the 2020s, things got weird. AI could write poetry, sort of, paint like Picasso or a caffeinated toddler, create deepfake videos, cue the ethical panic, write entire collage essays that no professor could detect until now. Just how far have we come? Let's take a moment to appreciate just how far our electronic brains have come. Back in 1950, we had ENIAC, a machine the size of a small house that could barely handle basic math, yet somehow still managed to make humans feel a little nervous. Fast forward to 1981, and the IBM PC arrived like an eager office intern who just discovered spreadsheets and was thrilled to sort columns all day long. Then came 1997, when IBM's Deep Blue beat chess grandmaster Garry Kasparov. That was the moment we realized these brains weren't just crunching numbers. They were learning strategy. By 2011, Watson took the Jeopardy stage and wiped the floor with the smartest humans on national TV. Talk about an ego check. And now, in the 2020s, we have AI models like ChatGPT that can write stories, tell jokes, compose music, and maybe even understand us, at least on a good day. Today's AI doesn't just calculate. It communicates with billions of data points backing every word. From room-sized calculators to conversational companions, the journey has been nothing short of mind-blowing. Today's AI models can handle billions of parameters. That's like comparing a matchbook to a fusion reactor, or asking your goldfish to do your taxes versus hiring a quantum accountant from the future. The irony, the brain got a personality. Here's the twist. In 1950, electronic brain was just a metaphor for number crunching. Now, our electronic brain chats back. AI today can simulate human conversation, crack jokes, write fiction, compose music, give you relationship advice, questionable, and maybe, just maybe, understand what you're feeling. Keyword, maybe. The brain isn't just electric anymore. It's empathetic, artistic, and occasionally snarky. In fact, it's starting to sound suspiciously human without needing a coffee break. So, is AI the new electronic brain? Absolutely. But it's also more than that. It's a reflection of us, our data, our questions, our creativity, and yes, even our flaws. The electronic brain of the 1950s was a tool. The AI of today is a partner. The AI of tomorrow? Well, that depends on us. Because the real brain, the one behind the scene, is still the human one typing, thinking, questioning, and wondering, where does this all lead next? Final bite. In 1950, we called them electronic brains and feared they might think. In 2025, they do think, and we're asking them what to have for dinner. Stay safe, stay secure, and if that's not progress, I don't know what is. Thanks for tuning in. Now go hit that subscribe button and stay curious, my friends.